You need to Millie rock yourself to the drugstore and get some condoms.
I remember the first day ever.
He is lying. He came
Even
over
for
to
30
visit.
days?
You wasn't really giving me nothing. I know that.
Have no idea who my extended family is.
You said you was the Virgin Mary.
If you've never had an emotional ride on the paternity court show, this would definitely make tears roll down your eyes. Mr. Hampton tries to find his long-lost daughter, whom he hasn't seen for over 20 years. It's a burst of emotions, and I hope you're ready for all the juice.
Ms. Brown, you stand before the court with your mother, Alicia Brown. You say your world was recently turned upside down when you were contacted by a man whom you've never even heard of before, claiming to be your birth father. Now that man, Mr. Hampton, is waiting in our courtroom hallway, and he will join us in a moment.
The whole long-lost daddy-daughter reunion starts when Miss Brown is contacted by Mr. Hampton, claiming he is her father. Miss Brown, of course, had no idea who her biological parents were. Why? Well, she was adopted only when she was 3 months old.
I was recently contacted by someone claiming to be my sister on what's called Instagram. And from there, he messaged me on Facebook. And he said, Kayla, I think I finally found your Facebook. Please let me know. I have no idea how much you or your adoption parents know about how things were, but I'll be more than willing to answer your questions that they may have, and I have pictures also. Talk to you later.
It was like a shocking revelation to Miss Brown, being that she had never even met him her entire life. Mr. Hampton walks into the courtroom. My God, does he have a lot to say about how she is his long-lost daughter? It's mind-blowing, trust me.
I've been looking for my daughter for 20 years, Your Honor.
Okay.
I was in love with her mother, Your Honor, and
You all were in a relationship?
yes, we were in a relationship, Your Honor, and she was pregnant, Your Honor. This was my first child. I'm the one that gave her name, Your Honor. I did everything that I...
So you were participating in this pregnancy and in the birth?
Revelations keep coming up and soul-crushing secrets start to pop out. Mr. Hampton tries to tell his story about how he couldn't be there to be her daddy. But was Miss Brown buying any of it? Nope. You can bet she wasn't. I wouldn't if I were in her shoes too.
to Alaska to be with her mother while she was pregnant. And I was there at the hospital when she was born.
I'm confused. If you did all that stuff, I don't know why I'm here with my mom today and not with you. To be honest, I'm just being honest.
Your mother was going through some problems. I had the opportunity to take you when I met her at the mall.
Now, from Mr. Hampton's narration and the sad face he had on, you could very much tell he wasn't lying. He really wanted her to be his daughter. He wasn't just talking people, he had enough evidence to back up his claim. But Miss Brown was pretty defensive.
She's pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I've kept this photo for years, Your Honor, because I knew someday that I would find her, Your Honor.
And who's in this photo, Mr. Hampton?
That's me, that's my daughter here, and that's her mother, Your Honor.
So, Miss Brown, what are you thinking as you see these photos?
Look at that baby. That could be you or you. It's just, there's nothing that distinguishingly says it's me.
Mr. Hampton remains insistent on his story. He keeps telling the judge that he knows for a fact that she's his daughter. Well, brace up, because your minds are about to be blown. When he is asked the last time he saw her, his Asner leaves everyone in shock. Trust me, you'd be amazed too.
Before today, if this is in fact your daughter.
I haven't seen her since she was about 2 weeks old, Your Honor.
About 2 weeks old.
2 weeks old, Your Honor.
In your statement to the court, you said you have a picture of her at 2 years old. How did you get that picture?
Your Honor, when I went back to Alaska, Your Honor, I came across her mother, Your Honor, and her birth mother gave this picture to
Jerome,
to me,
let me
Your
see
Honor.
this picture.
Now, Miss Brown's adopted mother walks up the stage and drops the most surprising revelation. Trust me, it would leave you asking the question, who is telling the truth? It was starting to look like someone had been playing mind games, and believe me, the judge was hell-bent on finding out who it was.
I want to hear from your adoptive mother. Miss Brown, please stand. And first ask you, have you ever seen this picture of your daughter?
Yes, I have.
You have?
I have, and I'm curious to know how her biological mother got that picture.
Oh, okay, wait. So you know this to be your daughter?
Yes, that's my daughter.
But
I never gave that picture to anybody, and I don't know where.
Miss Brown's mother claims she had her baby girl brought in several different times to the hospital to determine who her real father was. Did they ever get to know the real father? No, they didn't. The big question now is, where has Mr. Hampton been all this time?
So they knew
hold that
I
piece
was
of
her
evidence.
father.
Let me just see this first.
I took this child several different times, at least for sure 3 times, if not 4 times, in for blood tests and watched them draw blood from her to try to determine who her father was. And they never could determine who the father was. So they kept listing different men. Okay, now we think this is the father. Can you please bring her in for another test?
Well, the moment we've all been waiting for is here, and the truth is about to be revealed, people. It's been one tricky ride here, but all that suspense is about to be over. I hope you guys are ready because I am.
Mr. Hampton, you have desperately waited for this answer. You are not her father.
That can't be right, Your Honor.
But that is me in the picture.
Trust me, you and I both know we never want to be in his shoes. After having so much suspicion, feeling like he was being lied to, having some doubts that he wasn't the dad of their little girl, he dragged his girl's ass to court to find out the truth. Hold on to your seats, folks. We're about to have some real child battle drama.
Mr. Green.
Yes, ma'am.
You claim your rights as a potential father to the child in question today. 2-year-old Angel Bryant were basically stolen from you.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say at 56 years old and having never fathered a child previously, you've had doubts about paternity from the beginning.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now jumping right into the love triangle, or should I say, the triangle of heartbreaks. It all started on New Year's night. Sounds romantic, right? I bet your jaws are about to drop soon. Mr. Green met Miss Duncan that sweet evening, and as the gentleman that he is, he took her to his house for some coffee, and I would say have a good time if you know what I mean.
Mr. Green, how did you meet Miss Duncan?
How did I meet her? Well, it was New Year's night. She was out, I was out, of course. I saw her staggering a little bit, walking home alone from the club. I took her home, and then we just talked for a little bit, exchanged numbers.
Then shortly thereafter, you guys began dating?
I don't have sex. I'm not a sexually active person. We did not sleep together, and this was about 3 months later.
I can't be the only one who thought something fishy was gonna happen, or was I? Well, after getting all mushy with Miss Duncan, he thought he had met the love of his life. The bombshell is about to drop. She had another secret guy who she also happened to be having a good time with. Miss Duncan would for sure win the award for being a sleek lady.
You weren't talking to the guy anymore, but you were.
Yes.
And you weren't just talking to him.
No.
You were still having sex with him too.
Yes.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know nothing about a relationship.
So you thought she was single when you met her?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what happened when you discovered you were pregnant?
I got sick. I was eating buffalo wings and I was start hurting in my right side real bad.
Going forward in their love drama, Miss Duncan found out she was pregnant. I sure think that's too quick. Getting pregnant just a few months after she meets Mr. Green? Come on, that's just all shades of suspicious. Of course, Mr. Green got the first call, and the mind-blowing thing is that he wasn't excited about the news. He was trying to add the math, and all his brain could tell him was, how's this possible?
Your Honor, I figured that if I'm supposed to be the child's father, I would have been there at the time of birth, and also my name would be on the birth certificate, Your Honor.
And so that's not the case?
No. And in fact, while she was pregnant, I was informed that she would call me. I said, call me when you get ready to have the child, so I can be there at birth. I would like to cut the cord.
As the tales of deceit keep unfolding, the truth starts to come to the surface. And trust me when I tell you, there's so much more. After having her baby, she comes out with a new story 7 months after birth and tells Mr. Green that he might not be the father of the kid. Ouch. That's for sure going to leave a mark on his heart.
So, Mr. Green, at what point did you find out there was another man in the picture?
I'm getting to that right now, Your Honor.
Okay.
It was like 6 or 7 months down the road after doing her pregnancy. Then she told me, she said, well, the baby may not be yours. That's after 6 or 7 months.
Of pregnancy or
Yes.
when the baby was born?
6 or 7 months doing pregnancy.
All right.
And that's why I found out the baby may be who she said it may be.
I was surprised this didn't turn into punching spray. Mr. Green came home with Miss Duncan and their little girl and met a guy waiting for them in the house. Let the drums roll in. The guy waiting for them was the other guy, who was also having a good time with Miss Duncan. Ding, ding, ding. Now that's wild.
What happened when you saw him?
I don't know if it was a birthday or Mother's Day. Okay, I took her home and he was outside waiting for her. And that kind of hurt. And he said, I come to see my daughter, my daughter. I said, that's your daughter, that's my daughter. And that's like embarrassing, you know. He was already there waiting for her to come home.
Really? And so you out as a family and then come home and some other man is talking about he's coming to pick up your family?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you think that's all the juice in this story, hold on to your seats because I'm about to blow your mind. Another epic heartbreak for Mr. Green. She says she wasn't sure who had the kid, so she played both of them, hoping one of them would come true. Speechless is how I feel right now.
So while he was sitting around waiting for the phone to ring,
I called him.
The
and
other
he
guy
didn't
was-
answer.
Oh, so hold on now. If the other guy was there, you called him and he didn't answer, did you gonna have them both
called
there?
him. No, Your Honor, no.
So after he didn't answer, then you called the other guy?
Yes.
So that guy was up there and the baby was born, you put his name on the birth certificate?
Yes, I have evidence.
I guess it's high time we brought this paternity war zone to a close. Will it be all nice, Mr. Green, who gets to go home saying I'm the dad? Or would it be the other guy who was in the shadows having a good time with Miss Duncan? The answer to that question sits like a princess in the envelope. Let the truth be told.
Mr. Ronald Green, you are not her father. Are we certain it is the other gentleman?
It's gonna work out.
We've got Mr. Wilson here, who had been accusing Miss Dean of turning his home into a love nest. The plot thickens as we delve into the saga of baby Jakaya, a 17-month-old cutie caught in the crossfire of a relationship gone sour.
Mr. Wilson, you've opened your case today to prove that Miss Dean's 17-month-old daughter Jakaya is not your biological child. You say you moved her into your home, laid out the red carpet, only to find out she was rolling around with other men in your home. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So here's the lowdown on their love story. Plaintiff claimed he rolled out the red carpet, only to be met with disappointment. Oh, the drama. Accusations from planning the baby to concessions were the order of the day here.
So, Mr. Wilson, why don't you believe that you're the father of Miss Dean's daughter, Jakaya?
Your Honor, I don't believe I'm the father because I have been fooled by multiple females in the past.
Oh.
What do you mean you planned this?
And I have been going down this rodeo for far too long. I signed on a birth certificate. I'm not there physically, I just can't handle it.
Well, these guys were just about throwing shades at each other, one way or another. Facebook shenanigans and whispered conversations gave birth to only the baby, but this whole mess as well.
She was on my Facebook page, liking my comments
So
and
was, you
my
was my
pictures.
boo? So did.
And she hit me up like, what you up to, and this, that, and the other. At the time, I was taking care of my stepfather, had my own house, car, working, things of that nature. And because I had previous relationships with her in the past, I was single, she was single, we decided to meet up. And we met up and we actually planned the baby. The baby was just not a coincidence.
Well, the supposed concessions and Facebook likes turned into a baby-making scheme. But oh, the horror! Mr. Wilson starts doubting when inconsistencies arise, and Ms. Dean's storytelling takes a detour. Concessions turn into whispers, echoes, and late-night visits. The confusion was real as he dug into the details, trying to unravel the mysteries of Jakaya's conception.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
So you accepted this baby as your own?
I did.
And at that time when you did that, you believed you were the father?
Didn't have no doubts.
And you basically thought you all had brought the plan to fruition, that you had said together that we're gonna have a baby, and here's my baby that I've been wanting to have.
Correct.
As the relationship grew, so did the suspicions. Miss Dean wasted no breath in calling Mr. Wilson a liar. Oh, somebody was twisting things in this love story, for sure. The plot thickens, and the truth still remains elusive.
He knew exactly what was going on. And with that other guy, he just don't want to take responsibility and be a man and stand up. He came over to visit. He is lying. He came over to
30
visit.
days?
He lied. It wasn't no 30 days. How was it 30 days when we was having concessions all that time? He is lying, bro.
Fasten your seatbelts. We are about to dive into the birth certificate saga, along with the ex's drama. Mr. Wilson went ahead and talked to the infamous ex-girlfriend Lo, and behold, the story took a different turn, but he still signed on the dotted line, embracing fatherhood. What was up with that now?
Then I have no doubts. But he said the complete opposite of what she's given me. And I asked him, I said, is y'all having a child together? He's like, yeah. I said, what y'all supposed to be having? He said, a little girl. He went into details. So that fueled my doubts.
Wait a minute, this was before the baby was born?
Yes, before.
So why'd you sign the birth certificate?
I'm gonna tell you why. When the baby was born, it was so light and bright. I was like, he's so dark, she's dark. It's no way he's the father.
Moving on, Miss Dean goes into quite a long rant regarding all the disappointments she faced. Mr. Wilson wasn't stepping up to the plate, and when he did, well, things took a different turn.
He had the baby trying to take the baby so he can be with someone else. He used me, basically.
She watched too many Lifetime, Your
No,
Honor.
he used me, Your Honor. After I had that baby, Your Honor, he proposed to me, told me that we were gonna get married, moved in together. He lied, took the baby, tried to move away. Well, he had the baby in his care. He never took her because I gave her to him.
Oh, the tension was building as the court got ready to unveil the truth about Jekiah's paternity. Wilson's desire for closure and Dean's anticipation collided as the revelation was about to unfold. Let's see whether the daddy gets to hear those 4 words or not.
Mr. Wilson, you are not the father. Miss Faithful, stop.
I was actually happy. I don't gotta deal with neither one of them.
I hope you guys are prepared to get your hearts broken because Mr. Hoyer's story will leave you speechless. He tries to find his biological father, only to be told he died a long time ago. What's worse, his family doesn't want to have anything to do with him. Let's dive right into the heartbreaking drama, shall we?
Mr. Hoyer, after 14 years of being in foster care, you desperately searched for your father. Sadly, that search ended when you learned that your alleged father, Mr. James Horn, was tragically killed. To make matters worse, you claim his family rejected you, and so you're here today to prove to them that you are indeed his son.
Mr. Hoyer starts by talking about his rough childhood, growing up without a dad in his life. It was tough for him as a kid, trust me. He wanted a father so bad, he was willing to do anything to get one. But did his dad ever come to get him? Well, I guess you know the answer to that already.
What was it like growing up without a father?
Your Honor, it was like hell growing up without a father. I was taken away when I was 3 and 9. I was in foster care for 14 years, got adopted when I was 14. Never got to learn how to shave, never got to learn how to tie a tie. I don't know who my father is because my mom used to be a stripper. I feel that if I did know my biological father, my life would have been totally different.
Now this part will definitely leave you speechless, I promise! He pays a visit to his mom just to say hi and do the usual check-in, then boom! He sees his mom's new boyfriend, and he tells Mr. Hoyer the most shocking news.
When did you learn that?
A couple months ago, it was my 23rd birthday. I went to my mom's house to just go say hi, and her new boyfriend was like, "You look like your father," which stopped me right there in my tracks. So I was like, "Wait, you know my father?" He was like, "Yeah, your father is James Horn."
And this was the first person that had looked at you and said, "You look just like him."
Yes, Your Honor, and I actually have a photo here.
Jerome, may I see that, please?
Getting to hear that he wanted to meet his family so bad. He went on to search for his family and more revelations popped up. Trust me, your mind is about to be blown. Mr. Hoyer didn't particularly get a welcome party. The grandmom for sure wasn't buying the idea of him being part of their family. Why? She said her son had no kids before he died. Crazy, right?
He thinks he's your grandson. What were you thinking?
Well, my son Arthur brought him in, and he said, "I want you to see him. See, is this your grandson?" And here's the word I said. I said no, because I hadn't heard it before. Because before my son left me, he said he didn't have any kids, and I'm going by what he said.
Things started to look really shaky in the courtroom. Everybody's story happened to just not match what Mr. Hoyer was trying to explain. Here comes another shocking revelation. His mom says there might be another man who might be his father. Damn!
I never heard him say that.
So I guess your secret was safe, because they have no idea.
It was a secret. I didn't even know I was really pregnant until I was 6 months. But like I have told my son, there is another man before this man.
The courtroom is just tense. It's filled with so much suspicion because there's starting to be a lot of coincidences. Now, Mr. Hoyer's mom says she took her son to his father's family and she got the surprise of her life. She was shunned by Miss Horn, who happened to be Mr. Hoyer's alleged father's sister. It's a really messy situation right now, believe me.
This young lady came and knocked at my mother's door. She says, "I have your brother's child." I'm like, "That's not my brother's child. Get out of here." I mean, we was trying to keep our cool, but this is not my brother's child.
And why were you so sure?
He didn't look nothing like us. Nothing. Didn't have no resemblance of my brother.
Now the alleged father's sister was beyond furious because Mr. Hoyer's mom said some really awful things about her brother before he died. Oh, trust me, you could see it in her eyes that she was beyond upset.
It's sad this young man got to hear what we got to say, but when she told him anything about my brother, it was awful. She told him he was a crackhead. She told him he was a drunk. She told him he wasn't no good. My brother was an upstanding.
Excuse me, did I ever tell you that?
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. I remember the first day.
Ever.
Now that all made this last part all the more interesting, won't you guys agree? Well, the results were in, and Judge Lake seemed about ready to deliver her final verdict on the mess these guys created. Let's find out who was the daddy.
That Mr. Horn is not likely. your biological father.
See, son, you shouldn't have done this.
No, you shouldn't have done this.
The courtroom was about to become a battleground of truth and parenthood. Strap in, folks, because this ain't your regular episode. Mr. Harrington claimed the defendant was pinning a baby on him. Yep, he was singing that song, but the case was just getting started.
Mr. Harrington, you claim you are not the father of Miss Day's 1-month-old daughter, Nalani Day, and want her to stop pinning her baby on you. You say your sexual relationship with the defendant ended before she got pregnant. Ms. Day, you say you would never attempt to pin a baby on a man without being sure he is the father.
So, the potential baby daddy dropped truth bombs, accusing the mama of playing pin the baby on the good dad game. Meanwhile, she was standing firm, claiming divine maternity. Oh, you won't believe what she testified to. She said she was the Virgin Mary if the baby wasn't for him.
Ms. Day, those are strong allegations.
If
What do you do?
he is not the father of my child, I am the Virgin Mary. There's no other possibilities. I have not been messing around with anybody else throughout the time that we were messing around.
So you are 100% positive Mr. Harrington is your child's biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
Who knew an MRI appointment would turn into getting the news of a lifetime? Well, that happened to our dear Ms. Day. Oh, the glamour. However, baby daddy soon jumped into evidence of why he was not the guy the woman was looking for. Oh, it was one heck of a text chain.
So tell me when you found out you were pregnant.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I went to go and take an MRI. I was doing a brain study, went to go and take an MRI. When I went to go take the MRI, before you take it, they have to give you a pregnancy test because it can affect your pregnancy or whatever. So when I went to go and take the pregnancy test, they came back and they told me that I was pregnant.
So, text messages from an anonymous tipper, missed cycles, and a sprinkle of denial. That was what created this paternity chaos. And it was brimming with some more as the baby daddy delved deeper into his doubts, taking us right along with him. That must be nice.
That's how I found out. Then I asked my sister, I called her, whatever. I was like, so I heard you was hiding the pregnancy. She was like, Kayla didn't want me to tell you, and she was also saying that you the daddy. And I'm like, how? When she ain't talking to me. So I tried to call her. She not answering the phone.
He's trying to flip it around. I don't answer his call on a daily, on a regular basis. I don't answer the call.
Oh, something was definitely amiss. And you can see the confidence with which mommy started testifying, slowly crumbling as all the skeletons in her closet come out to play. But first, let's sort out the mystery of the two guys she was texting in the shadows.
It wasn't. There is a guy number one and a guy number two, but not a guy number one and a guy number two potentially to be my child's father.
But you believe you were pregnant before you start talking to these guys.
I know I was pregnant before then.
I want to go to the birth of Nalani, and I want to understand, once he finds out you're pregnant, are you supportive of this pregnancy, Mr. Harrington?
Well, doubts were there, but Daddy still showed up at the hospital. Now we gotta hear that story from the defendant's witness, because her version took the cake in this Who's the Daddy saga.
You are her witness that Mr. Harrington is Nalani's biological father.
Because when he came to the hospital, he asked her not to be named Nalania. He wanted her to be named Naya.
They just trying to make
He don't want to admit nothing because because his girlfriend told him that if he's the father to this baby, that they would break up.
Now that all made this last part all the more interesting, won't you guys agree? Well, the results were in, and Judge Lael seemed about ready to deliver her final verdict on the mess these guys created. Let's find out who was the daddy.
Mr. Harrington, you are not the father.
What?
Told you,
Are
bro.
you serious?
Told you. Can I Millie Rock?
No, no, you can't.
Sorry.